Hello, this is Tyler with Robbins Contracting, here with Oakley to talk to you about expansive soils. Oakley, where you going? You hiding? Don't be scared. I don't think he wants to be a part of this video. Don't be nervous. You nervous? I guess he's going to be out of this video. Anyways, we brought you to a job site in Longmont here to explain 3 concepts about expansive soil. What is it? Where is it? And what does it cost to deal with it? So, I brought you to this job site because that foundation is sitting on a bunch of expansive soil. Now, you wouldn't necessarily know it by looking at the foundation, but this area has a lot of expansive soil. As a matter of fact, all the houses around it, the neighbor right there and the house across the street over here, are both sitting on the exact same expansive soil. So, what is it? Well, in short, expansive soil is nothing more than clay. It's a bunch of minerals and stuff that make up the expansive part of clay, but basically, clay, when it gets wet, expands, and then when it dries up, it consolidates and shrinks back down. This could be really bad on a foundation. So, it's not good to build a house on clay. I'm going to walk over here and show you what that looks like in dry soil. So this big pile of dirt right here is all normal dirt. Looks normal. Can't tell a whole lot about it until you start looking close. You can see these green color clay. It is clay, but that green colored dirt inside all the other brown dirt. And that green stuff is the clay I'm talking about. Whenever you dig a hole, an excavation like this, you see the side of the excavation wall, you see that green stuff running through it in veins. That is generally not a good sign. So, that's what it is. Now, where is it? Well, unfortunately in northern Colorado, it can show up anywhere. It's really hard to accurately predict where it can be. As a general rule of thumb, as you travel west towards the mountains, the soil gets worse. If you're east towards I-25, the soil is generally better. However, we've done projects in the past where the next door neighbor was perfectly fine, and the lot we built on had a bunch of expansive soil. So it can vary from lot to lot even. It gets dramatic. So the best advice is if you're looking for a lot or a piece of ground, talk to a soils engineer before you buy it. Most of them are pretty knowledgeable about a bunch of different areas, and they'll help you out a little bit and tell you what they think about that particular subdivision. Best case is you have the soils engineer do a soil test, which costs some money obviously, but then you can know for sure if you have expansive soils or not before ever buying the lot. So that's what is it. Now, how expensive is it to deal with it? Well, that varies, of course. There are different ranges of ways of mediating expansive soil. This, you would never be able to tell. That's a normal foundation wall, but it's sitting on what's called a caisson foundation. So if you look at this little pad, I kind of cleared it off already. That little round pad right there is a caisson that goes about 30-35 feet down into the ground to bedrock, and it expands. It sits on bedrock and holds up this foundation wall. There's one of those caissons, well, depending on the engineer, about every 12 feet or so, 8 to 12, sometimes 15 feet apart. So, see if I can find another one now. We're kind of ad-libbing. I didn't do this ahead of time. But those caissons are an added expense that obviously you don't ever get out of the finished product of the house. Here's one right here. The best way to visualize what this is like a bridge. You can imagine piers and a bridge that hold up the bridge. This is the exact same concept. These caissons span 8 to 12 feet or whatever, 15 feet, and they hold up this foundation wall. This foundation wall spans between them. So then what happens is you do a structural slab on the inside here, which is our next step. We have not done it yet. But inside here, you can see a caisson right there, right in the middle of that room. Inside here, there will be a structural slab that does the exact same thing. It spans over these caissons much like a bridge. So actually that structural slab will span between these caissons and will never touch the dirt. There will literally be about a 12 to 15 inch gap between the dirt and the bottom of that structural slab that we put in there. So that is that's kind of the ultimate way of dealing with expansive soil. There's other ways of mediating it. Sometimes you can just do what's called an over excavation, where you dig out the expansive dirt and replace it with structural soil. Sometimes you don't have to do a structural slab, you just have to do caisson. So there's a wide variety, but it can range from, you know, $10,000 extra dollars to $50,000 extra dollars depending on what is involved. So the best way to find out ahead of time, do a soils report and see exactly what kind of soils you're dealing with. By the way, if you're ever talking to a geotechnical engineer, don't call it dirt, it's soil. They get really upset about that. I don't know why. I called it dirt a lot in college, got yelled at all the time. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to keep calling it dirt. But if you ever talk to a geotechnical engineer, call it soil. All right. That's about all the information I can give you about expansive soil. Let's go check on Oakley, see if he's still doing good. If you got any questions, feel free to contact us, ask me questions. There's probably a lot of gaps that kind of ran through that pretty quick, but I would love to help you. Say bye to Oakley. Now you know.